Good afternoon, guys. Guys, I was just thinking about something the other day. The funniest part to me is, when you listen to rabbis talk. You listen to a lecture by a rabbi. They'll take a topic, right? They'll take something that's going on in the Jewish world. And it's usually something that we all observe that's going on in the Jewish world. Different things, different issues. When I say we all observe, what I mean is people who are in the Orthodox world see what's going on, see the problem, and the rabbi, mentions the problem, and everybody agrees that it's a problem. And we basically, what do? We use common sense. We use our intuition. We believe our lying eyes, as we like to say. Notice, let's say a rabbi mentions the problem of intermarriage. Most rabbis that I've heard talk about intermarriage, they don't actually cite exact numbers. They don't cite the Pew Research Survey. They don't cite studies, double-blind and peer-reviewed studies, as it were. They just say, we have a problem with intermarriage, and we have to stop it. What are they talking about? What are they basing this on? They're basing this on their own observations. I don't know, Chabad rabbi sees people bringing their non-Jewish, whatever it is. I'm just using this as an example. Nothing against anybody involved, right? They observe it. Or they're talking about the issue with the agunas, the women who are, they won't get a get. The husband won't give them a get. Sure, there are studies conducted on it, but you don't need to read a study to understand that it's a problem. Why? Because you know people that observably, anecdotally, you hear it all the time, right? Literally, you hear it all the time. Just like you see that there's now a rising problem of divorce in the Jewish world. Divorce, people with kids. Guys, I'm in the shidduch world, in the world of, I'm looking for my zivug, my soulmate, and I keep getting offered because of my age, divorced women with children, right? And I come to the conclusion that this is not just an issue for me personally. You know what I'm saying? It's just a rampant problem. There's a lot of divorce in the Jewish world. There's a lot of, let's say, divorced people who have multiple children in the Jewish world, right? It's an issue. It's an issue. It's a big issue, right? Observably, we don't need to conduct studies. In the words of there used to be the comedian Mitch Hedberg. He talked about buying a donut. He's like, I cannot imagine a scenario where I would need to produce a receipt that I bought a donut. Skeptical friend, I don't believe that you bought that donut. He's like, I walk into the store, I give you the money, you give me the donut. End of transaction. We do not need to put ink and paper into this. My friends, we do not need to put ink and paper into this. End of transaction. We don't. So now, all of a sudden, guys, we see, speaking of sudden, we see died suddenly, like on loop. Article after article after article after article. Old person, young person, healthy person, quasi, some person with something, I don't know, nothing but a condition, but nothing to do with cardiac arrest. Nothing to do with your heart, cardiovascular system. Died suddenly, died suddenly. And you bring it to people. Well, but that's not how science works. We need to conduct studies. Ladies and gentlemen, the people who did this, why do you think anybody would conduct studies on this? And there have been, by the way, studies, but, and they claim they just conducted a study and they said, yeah, internal affairs looked into it, there's no problem, The Shmi and the Fada. They just did it. It took them an hour. It took them about a day. Okay, we just conducted a study. Grand opening, grand closing. Oh, thank you very much, there's no problem. We concluded that there's no problem. ladies and gentlemen. And the craziest part about this is this. The same people who say that we need to conduct studies, I'm talking about Jews right now, Orthodox Jews, that there need to be studies and double-blind, what I call Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, two blind guys, and peer pressure review. The same people, these same people, I'm going to do oops. Yeah, see, they're zapping me. You see what they're doing? They're zapping me. They're doing it. Ladies and gentlemen, these same people, I'm going to do Denzel Washington. These same people went to their rabbi for medical advice. And they called it Das Torah. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a friend who told me that rabbi said it when my friend who works in the health field or in the medical publication field came to his rabbi and said, don't you think there's a problem here, here, here? The rabbi said, you know what rabbi said to him? Let's not be too smart. Sometimes we're just too smart for our own good. We should just follow the science. Ladies and gentlemen, the mind effery of this whole situation is so astronomical. And I'm talking about just in the Jewish world, the self-mind effery. The self, well, you understand, it was scary, we were scared, it was this, it was that, they put us in a panic, ladies and gentlemen. That's the whole thing. Fear is the absence of emunah and bitachon. We have an emunah problem. We don't have a science problem. We don't have a, intelligence problem. We have an emunah problem, ladies and gentlemen. And we have a common sense and intuition problem. We've thrown our common sense, just like my friend Frank and I were talking about the thing with the kosher industry. We've thrown our responsibility to other people. We've thrown our intuition into the wind and common sense. And now somebody told us, rely on the science, like this guy, Mr. Mousy. If you're questioning me, or if you're attacking me, you're attacking the science, because I am science. My name is Dr. Mousy. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to just get back to doing what? Believing our lying eyes. If we see something around us, like literally, we're not blind and we can see it, we can hear it. Baruch Hashem, we have eyes, we have ears. For those of us who have both of them, both of our faculties, we don't need studies to confirm what we're seeing. Just like we don't need studies to confirm what works observably over and over and over again from a particular doctor who was vilified. We don't need them, ladies and gentlemen. We don't. You might think that sounds insane. We don't. You know why? Because the studies that were used either to confirm or vilify the stuff that works were fraudulent, and the studies that were used to supposedly, get emergency schmotherization for the stuff that people were forced to take under barrel of a gun were also basically fraudulent, according to whistleblowers. Ladies and gentlemen, so your studies are worth gurnished, okay? And our eyes and our intuition and our common sense is worth everything. The studies are worth nothing, and our intuition and our common sense and our eyes, the things that we can observe, is worth basically everything, ladies and gentlemen. Believe your lying eyes. I give you the money, you give me the donut. You do not need put ink and paper into this.